Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Hope you've enjoyed your Wednesday, whatever it is that you were doing today. I hope you did enjoy it and you looked after yourselves. It was an unfortunate Wednesday for a certain Spurs player, Manor Solomon, today. So we talk a little bit around the injury news that broke really about an hour ago. It's not good. So I'll tell you what happened and what he's done. But also we're going to be looking around the players that now need to step up. So, looking at the players coming through the youth system, looking at players already in the first team squad. We'll also be talking about the games that he's going to miss and what impact that's really going to have. So let's jump in, all right? It's ironic, by the way. I did a video earlier talking about, there's some good news around some injuries. There's a little bit of bad news. But, go back and have a look. Go back and, really understand, what we've got going on. So there's another video I talked about other injuries. Please go have a look at it. Then come back and have a look at this one because, it's not as rosy. So to let you know, Manor Solomon, this comes from Paul O'Keefe. Manor Solomon has suffered an MCL injury and faces potentially 2 to 3 months out. He also goes on to say this was a freak training injury. So, look, regardless if you're ever going to be a Manor Solomon fan or not, I'm not saying I am or not, but I'm just talking objectively. If you're losing another attacking option in an area where, sometimes we could be a bit hit and miss, I think it's really, really damaging. With the fact we've got Perisic out for so long. We've got now Manor Solomon out injured. We've got Son who's carrying around injury. We've got Maddison who's carrying around an injury. Brennan Johnson's out injured. Brian Hill's only just come back. When you're talking about what we've got left, fit, you've got Charlison and you've got Kulusevski and now Alejo Veliz. You've got 3 options. I've seen Spurs fans saying, well, we need to be resting Son now. We need to be resting Son for this game. And I disagree. Son's going to have to play. I spoke in a previous video earlier and I said, maybe we can try and rest Son and bring him on for the last little bit, or do you play him for 60, 70 minutes like he's already been doing recently? Well, now it becomes more important than ever that he's going to have to play some minutes. Saturday lunchtime against Luton, because there's not really many other players. You can't expect Brian Hill to give you 60, 70 minutes when he's not had a pre-season. He's been out injured for months. Brennan Johnson's now injured. Alejo Veliz, he had an injury for quite a long time through the summer. He's only just come back. He's barely played any football. Yes, you've got Kulusevski. Yes, you've got Richarlison. But that really is all you've got. So you're going to have to rely on Son to give you good, solid minutes, okay? And that's why I expect the front 3 actually to be on Saturday to be Richie, Sonny and Kulu. Because what else have you got to put out there? So when we look at really now what games he's going to miss, it's certainly alarming what he's going to miss. There are some very, very big games. And it's 2 to 3 months. I'm going to give you what 3 months will look like. It doesn't exactly mean he's going to miss all these games, but I'm going to go through them anyway. So in October, luckily, and November, we do have international breaks. So look, he's going to get 3 or 4 weeks taken out of that, basically a month out of that 2 to 3 month span, just on international football, which that's a slight bit of fortune for us. The same with Bentancur. Bentancur probably after this next international break will probably nearly enough be ready to start training with the first team. Brennan Johnson will be back. Brian Hill would have had more time to catch up on his fitness. It's these sort of things, right? So let's talk about October. So obviously we've got Saturday lunchtime away to Luton. We then, after the international break, play at home to Fulham. So he's going to miss his old opposition, his old team coming to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Then we play Crystal Palace away from home, and that's just October. So we're only playing 3 games in October, so he's going to miss those 3 for sure. We then come into November, and the first game we play in November is at home to Chelsea, the Mauricio Pochettino game. That would have basically been a month, okay? So we're looking at least 1 more month on top of that. We then play away to Wolves, we play at home to Villa, away to Man City, and at home to West Ham. That would embark on 2 months tomorrow, okay? If we were to look at 3 months, you then in turn miss at home to Newcastle, away to Forest, at home to Everton, away to Brighton on Boxing Day, at home to Bournemouth, and he'd probably be back in time for the Man United away fixture on the January 13th. Although, yes, there may be an FA Cup game coming in that early part of January. We'll obviously wait and see on that. So I'm going to go on the premise of being optimistic. I don't think he's going to miss 3 months. I don't. I think he's going to have a good recovery. He's not an old player or anything like that. Obviously, the younger you are, normally the quicker you are to recover. I'm going to say he's probably going to be back, I think, about mid-November. So he's going to miss about 2.5 months. So mid-November, we obviously have an international break coming in that period. So after the Wolves game on 11th of November, we don't play again to the 25th of November, 2 weeks later, at home to Villa. I think he returns for sure for that Villa game. Now, he might have to return quicker depending on injuries. But we're going to talk a little bit about now who needs to step up, who needs to take the bull by its horns. If you're going to have basically your backup left winger now out injured, who needs to come in? So, yes, you'll have Brennan Johnson back after the international break. And Brennan Johnson's the most likely replacement there. Him and Richarlison, having that opportunity playing on the left wing. But we look at other players. Yes, you're going to have now Alejo Veliz as the striker, and I think that might free up Son a little bit if Son needs to play left wing. A big target man in the centre. He's a big unit of a striker. You then got players like Bryan Hill coming back, and Ange's very excited for Bryan Hill. So he's now going to be on that list to come back and get good solid minutes, and I think he will, because let's be honest, this season every team has gone through a weird injury barren spell. As much as Chelsea have bought 800,000 players, they also still have lost the most in terms of injuries. They're dealing with something like 12 to 13 injuries. Liverpool have got injuries and now suspensions. You've got Man City that have lost Kevin De Bruyne for months on ends. They're missing injuries in key players. You look at Arsenal. Arsenal lost Saka last night. They're missing key players. So it's not just a Spurs thing. It's not just we're unlucky with missing those players. Every team's dealing with injuries, and it's pretty brutal at the moment. And we've got to be lucky that we're playing only once a week, really, at the moment, because if we're playing twice a week, we'd be screwed. We really would be. But if we're missing only 3 games in October, being away to Luton, home to Fulham, away to Crystal Palace, it might not be the end of the world, because in theory, for the Fulham game, Brennan Johnson should be back fit. Maybe Son gets a bit of a rest in that 2-week period. Selfish of me to think I don't want to go to international break, but he might, obviously. That's his decision. But if he doesn't, he gets 2 weeks off free to recover, So Maddison potentially, it depends on how Maddison's been feeling, maybe you get more Brian. You get 2 weeks of Bryan Hill really trying to catch up to speed. And I think after the international break, he'll be ready to play 30 to 45 minutes for sure, which is a really important thing when we're looking at such weak numbers in terms of our attacking areas. But I think the other one that I've not mentioned, and I know it wouldn't surprise me if someone's already commented on this video before we've reached this point, but Jamie Donnelly, the fact he was on the bench for the Liverpool game, like Veliz, he was an unused sub, but he's an attacking midfielder option, can play probably a bit of wing if we need him to, as well as up front probably if we need him to. He's scored a lot of goals this year. It's going to be crucial that one of our youngsters steps up, and it might be Veliz, he might be the guy, but one of them is going to have to step up, because I think who's not to say someone else gets injured? Who's not to say we lose someone else, through a suspension or things like that. So I think it's going to be super crucial for those options to really step up. It's not just down to Kulusevski. It's not just down to Richarlison and Son, who those 3 have had injuries in the last year. So we can't just put all our hopes on them. Brennan Johnson's played a couple of games for us. He's already injured. Bryan Hill, he's been injured for months. Veliz came here injured. So all these things we can't rely. That's why I think we need to somehow in January reinforce that attacking area again, because you've got 3 places there. Yes, you need at least 6 players, but you really probably need 7 or 8 players, because you're always going to let's be honest, no team ever has 100% full squad. They just don't. No one's always 100%, and that's why it's important sometimes even have 3 players for a position, because to be honest, as a utility player, you're going to need them. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. Hope you did enjoy it or found it useful. I wouldn't say enjoy it. I think it's rude to say you've enjoyed someone getting injured. Drop a like I said, on the video. Hit me in the comment section below around who you think steps up in Manor Solomon's absence, really. Is it Brennan? Is it Bryan Hill? Is it Donnelly? Is it Veliz? Is it, maybe more Kulusevski, Richarlison, Son? You let me know who you think it is. I'll be interested to see what you think. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and if you have subscribed recently, welcome. You'll see that on this channel we are positive. We try and find the positive in everything. and hit the bell notification for more. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.